I told myself I would start tomorrow. That tomorrow took 5 years to arrive. Not because I was lazy, not because I wasn't ready, because my brain had me convinced that thinking about it was the same as doing it. And here is the part nobody tells you about overthinking. The worst case scenario you have been running in your head for years is not waiting for you on the other side of action. It's already happening right now. In the life you are not living because you are too busy thinking about it. Stay with me because what I'm about to show you is not how to stop overthinking. It is something much more confrontational than that. Here's what nobody explains about overthinking. It is not a thinking problem. Your brain is not broken. Your brain is not weak. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is choosing the easier options. Think about it. Replaying a conversation in your head, easy. Having the conversation, hard. Planning the business in your head, easy. Starting the business, terrifying. Imagining the worst case scenario, easy. Finding out if the worst case scenario is actually true, unbearable. So the brain keeps you in the loop, not to protect you, to avoid the discomfort of finding out. And here's what the loop actually feels like. It starts small. One thought, reasonable, even healthy. Should I do this? What are the risks? That is normal thinking. But then it circles back. Same thought, slightly louder. Then again, louder still. Then it brings friends. What if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? What will people think? What if I'm not good enough? And before you know it, you're not thinking about the decision anymore. You're just exhausted. And exhausted people do not make decisions, they delay them. That delay, that is not safety. That is the loop winning. And the loop gets stronger every time you let it win. Now let me show you what is happening inside your brain while this loop runs. Your brain has a network. Scientists call it as default mode network. I call it your overthinking engine. It activates every time you're not focused on something real. Every ideal moment, every quiet room, every time you pick up your phone and put it down without doing anything. That network fires up and it starts replaying past mistakes, future fears, conversations that happened 3 years ago, conversations that haven't happened yet. And here's where it gets brutal. Harvard research tracked 2,250 people and found that humans are lost in their own thoughts 47% of their waking hours. Almost half your life. Not living it, replaying it, or pre living a version of it that will never actually happen. But here's the part that should genuinely concern you. Research shows that overthinking physically changes your brain. The more you run the loop, the stronger those neural pathways become. The more automatic the loop becomes, the harder it is to interrupt. Your brain is literally being trained by every thought you allow to cycle. You are either training it toward action or training it toward replay. And every day you spend in the loop, you are choosing replay, whether you realize it or not. Let me ask you something, and I want you to answer it honestly. What is the one thing you have been thinking about doing for more than a year? The business, the conversation, the move, the career change, the thing you bring up in your head every few weeks. Plan in detail, then quietly put back. How many versions of that plan exist only in your head? How many times have you started and stopped before anyone else knew you started? That is not planning. That is the loop convincing you that thinking about it is the same as doing it. And here's what that costs you. Not just the thing you haven't done, something more expensive than that. Time. The one thing you cannot earn back, cannot borrow, cannot manufacture more of. I spent 5 years in that loop. 5 years of planning a channel that took 2 weeks to actually start. 5 years, 2 weeks. And here's what that part still bothers me. The worst case scenario I was afraid of, the failure, the judgment, the possibility that I wasn't good enough, all of that happened anyway. Early videos with one view, people questioning my choices, moments where I genuinely didn't know if this was going to work. The thing I was trying to avoid by staying in my head was already happening. In the life I was living while I was too busy thinking about the life I wanted. The loop didn't protect me, it just delayed me. And every year you spend in a loop is a year that becomes a regret. Not eventually, it already is. Today you are regretting yesterday. Tomorrow you will regret today. The loop doesn't stop producing regret. It is regret's best friend. And the most painful part, you already know this. You have known this for a while. The question is, what are you going to do with that knowledge today? So, how do you break it? I'm not going to tell you a list. I'm not going to tell you to meditate or journal or breathe through it. Because here's the truth, none of those things break the loop, they pause it. The only thing that actually breaks it, the thing the loop was designed to prevent, action. Not perfect action, not fully prepared action, not action taken when you feel ready. Because that feeling never comes. Ready is not a feeling. Ready is the story the loop tells you to keep you exactly where you are. The action does not have to be big. It does not have to be right. It just has to be real. Something that exists outside your head. A message sent, a page written, a conversation started, a decision made and committed to. Because the moment something moves from inside your head to the real world, the loop loses its grip. Not permanently, the loop comes back. It always comes back. But here's what changes. Every time you choose action over replay, you are retraining your brain the same way the loop gets stronger every time you fed it. Action gets stronger every time you choose it. I still overthink every single day. Before filming, before publishing, before having difficult conversations. The loop still runs, but it no longer decides. Because I learned the hard way that loop will always have a better version to wait. A more convincing worst case scenario, a more logical argument for delay. And I learned that none of those reasons were ever going to disappear. I was going to have to act alongside them. That is the only break that works. Not silencing the loop, moving anyway, while it is still running. So here's where I leave you. Not with a solution, not with a system, not with 5 steps to overcome overthinking. With a question, the thing you have been thinking about, the one thing that came to mind when I asked earlier, the business, the conversation, the decision you keep replanning. What is the smallest possible action you could take on that today? Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when the timing is right. Today. Not to solve it, not to finish it, just to make it real. Just to move it from inside your head to somewhere outside of it. Because the loop cannot survive contact with reality. It only lives in the space between thinking and doing. That space is where your years go. I know because I lost 5 of mine there. You do not have to lose yours. I'm Jitinder, this is Breaking the Script, and I'll see you in the next one.